And I want to move on now to show you a little bit about locational astrology and specifically about love lines, since we've been talking a lot about that in this discussion here today. So I'm going to share my screen with you. And here we go. So what I want to share with you is about astro-locality or locational astrology and how we can use this tool. This is a lot of my practice that I've been engaging in for about 12 years now. I've studied all the places I've traveled to, which is about 35 countries at this point. And it just always blows me away how accurate this tool really describes the context and the content of where I've traveled to, the kinds of people I've met, the kinds of experiences I've had. And of course, I'm always researching this with my clients, doing readings, and also famous people's charts. So I just want to give a tiny bit of insight here about this tool, maybe inspire you to check this out more. If you're looking for love and relationships in your life, this can be one of the best tools. Now, it can also be used, of course, for finding the best careers in our life, a certain kind of career, finding community, a sense of home, where we want to ground out in our lives, where we want to have new opportunities, business adventures, more excitement in our life. So whatever we're looking for, this is what locational astrology can help us find. And here you see Brad Pitt's chart. This is actually his map. And what you're seeing here are many sets of energetic influences, which are essentially planetary lines. Now, there's these curvy ones coming out of Shawnee, Oklahoma. Shawnee was Brad's birthplace. And Shawnee is basically here in Oklahoma. And what you see in these curving lines are literally the planetary directions. So if you pointed on the day Brad was born and you said, hey, Brad, there's Neptune and there's Saturn and there's Pluto. Actually, what we're talking about is those parts of Brad's soul, those characters, which we call the planets, they get really awoken, triggered, activated along this circumference of the Earth, which you start to see drawn here in the western part of the US. And we can follow that around the whole planet. Those are called local space lines. Now, there's another set of lines that are about where planets are on the angles of your chart. The angles are related to the ascendant, the outer mask, the angle of the home, the angle of career, and the angle of partnership. So those are the four primary areas of our life experience. And if a planet is on one of those angles in a certain location, rising, setting, culminating, then it's going to become a dominant theme in our life. That character is really going to become front and center in our life experience. What I wanted to show you here is Brad's local space lines coming out to LA, to Los Angeles. Venus and the moon are here. This is the green line Venus. There's the moon line. Let me even go a little bit closer for you. And you see that almost directly on top of Hollywood is Venus and the moon. Why is this important? Because Venus is the goddess of love, relationships. She also rules the areas of money and of creativity in our lives. Now, Brad, of course, is an actor, and he earns millions of dollars from films. So there's some of that Venus expression, art, creativity, and money. Beautiful. But he also has attracted two primary long-term partners from LA. He met them in LA. This is Jennifer Aniston and Angelina Jolie. And they're both from LA. So we're looking at where the goddess, where relationship can be very strong for Brad. Now, I'm not saying it's perfect. Obviously, he's had troubles, especially recently. But these were long-term relationships. Brad has Venus in the sign of Capricorn. Capricorn usually likes an enduring, stable connection with someone. And here they are. Here's the two primary female figures, the Venusian goddesses here in LA. And it's really powerful. And then, of course, Brad has called this place his home, and he's had, very large family there. And the moon line is also there. The moon rules family, the domestic life, a sense of home, where we feel nourished. So now these parts of Brad's chart have been going through a lot of challenge and tension and conflict, chaos, because this is in Capricorn, Moon and Venus, and this has been having a lot of transits from Pluto and Uranus in the last couple of years. So that's another story. But this is one of Brad's love lines here. Now, I've also, in my own life, had a number of love lines related to Venus and Venusian experiences. This is Texas in my map, and one of the most significant relationships in my life, my partner was born almost right on top of this line. You don't see the city here, it doesn't come up, but she was born very close to where Venus is rising here. And when I first moved to Colorado, I'm very close to where Venus is rising as well here, and down here. And this first week I was in Colorado, I got to hang out with this amazing woman, and it was a really beautiful experience. But then that summer, I met one of the longest relationships and most deep, actually creative relationships in my life, and we performed together and played music and danced together, and that was again very close to my Venus line. And I'll share this with you. This is also another one of my charts and maps. Here's Spain and Portugal, where I plan to be back at the end of this year. And I was there in 2010 for a festival called the Boom Festival, which is an incredible festival, kind of like Burning Man, 20, 30,000 people. And that was taking place just right above my Venus line here. And I ended up teaching the first workshop at the festival. I launched my book at the festival and sold quite a few copies. I did a number of readings there, so I actually earned a decent amount of money. I made back my flight costs there, which was significant. So there's some Venus, earning money again. The place was absolutely beautiful and aesthetically very pleasing. The water, the music was just incredible. It really opened me up as a DJ and an artist. So the Venus energy of beauty and the arts was really triggered. But overall, I met this really beautiful and incredible woman, and we kind of fell in love right away and remembered our love. Felt like a past life love. And we hung out a lot at the festival, and then we traveled together to the southern part of Portugal, and we went over to right where my Venus line crosses in Sevilla, and also up in Cordoba and Andalusia in Spain. And for me, everywhere I went on this trip, there was just the physical beauty of the places and the people. I just loved it. And this was a very powerful expression of Venus, because I was traveling with Venus, with the goddess. She spoke Spanish and Portuguese and had a beautiful accent. And for my Venus is in Gemini, and Gemini loves and is attracted to the kind of difference of culture, of accents, of languages. And I also wrote a lot of stories down here. And my Venus is in Gemini, which is a sign of the writer. So in a lot of ways, my Venus was really opened up. And this is one of the key reasons I want to go back to this part of the world, to really activate love and my heart and my creativity. Now I'll show you something else, and we'll end with these two last pieces. I'm going over to the western part of Russia, which actually, it's not right on top, but this line over here is Juno. Now, we mentioned Juno as an asteroid of partnerships, soul contracts, deep, intimate bonds with others. and a lot of times marriage partners. And the most significant relationship of my life, where we lived together and we actually made a commitment in our life together, a number of hand fasting ceremonies. She came from this part of Russia, very close to this Juno line. So again, soul contracts, sacred relationships. This can be Juno lines, and Juno lines can very much bring in kind of marriage partners, very serious, committed partners in our life. I'll show you this other chart of a client who, she was born in Ohio in the States, but her partner was born in Sydney, Australia. Now she's got a lot going on in Australia, but two very significant things is here she has Juno on the angle of career. Here's Juno, the asteroid of partnership, like we were just talking about, and here's Venus crossing pretty close to Sydney. Venus is on the angle of partnership, which is beautiful position for Venus, because it's like the goddess is in the area of relationships. So this can bring harmony, beautiful connections with a lover. It can be a beautiful place to be in, where there's lots of friendships. But it's one of the best lines to attract in relationship in our life. And she actually works, she performs with her partner out on music festivals. So here's Juno, the asteroid of sacred partnership, on the angle of career. So she works with her partner there. And their love is fueling their creative work in the world. So this is a very strong crossing. And these are just a few insights into the power of using locational astrology to find love in your life. So I really hope this has been inspiring for you. This is a week where relationships are going through deeper transformation. And if you'd like to learn more about locational astrology, you can find me at findyourpowerplaces.com or divinetimingcoaching.com, and we can do a reading about all aspects of locational astrology. And if you're interested in coaching, you can also fill out a strategy session form there, or individual sessions. So happy new moon this week in Gemini. And I really look forward to continuing to serve you through astrology, human design, numerology, life, and business coaching. Namaste.